Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terance Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market, and you can pick from multiple sports platforms. Also, sign up using the code ASU and you'll get a 100% match on your initial offer up to $100. Download the app at the Google Play Store or the App Store. And what a segue to our main topic and the story that's leading the NFL right now, or was leading the NFL, excuse me. Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley has been suspended 1 year for gambling on NFL games during the 2021 season when he was away from the team due to issues with his mental health. I just want to say first, it is a rule, and I'm sure he knows better, that you can't gamble on a sport that you actually play, especially when you are out. And meaning that the perception of why you may or may not be out probably comes into question. And just the bottom line, ethically, it's wrong. But after a day of thinking more about the situation and reading more about it, I feel like the punishment myself, T, is too harsh. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a suspension, but a year I think is a bit too much. Don't get me wrong. This inadvertently does help the Falcons salary cap now because it frees up his money. And we don't know what his future would have been with ATL, but we definitely seems bleak for his return in 2023. But a few reasons why I think this is so bad for the NFL. Number one, the obvious. The NFL has all these sports betting sponsors. They are literally telling everyone around to bet on the game. Number two, players are more severe crimes like domestic assault and things like that. They get less punishment. And then lastly, the NFL owners must be held to the same standard. You had Stephen Ross of the Miami Dolphins. He needs to lose his ownership of the Dolphins for attempt to pay Brian Flores to lose football games if we're going to penalize the players. All right, I'm off my little soapbox, T.
You just said it all, man. You didn't leave anything for me. You didn't leave anything for me. But you know what? Here it is. It's just justice is not fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're talking about the NFL, if you're talking about society, it's just not fair.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say, well, this happened, and that the crime doesn't fit, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Mm-hmm. We can say all that, but we know that's not fair when it comes to individuals and circumstances and the totem pole of where you sit, so to speak, not only in the NFL but in society. So we can be upset about it whatsoever. So the NFL has no tolerance rule when it comes to gambling. I know that they have all these different outlets where you can gamble, DraftKings and all that stuff, and you can do all those things. But that's not meant for the players.
Yeah.
That is meant for the fans. You got fans, that's why it's called FanDuel. So, at the end of the day, people say, well, it wasn't a whole lot of money and it was one time, but it's the same thing. Like if your boss says, hey, we have no tolerance with drugs whatsoever, and you take a drug test and you fail it, mm-hmm. you get fired, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing. And at the end of the day, it could have been just a little bit of a weed or something like that in your system. So, but is a no tolerance rule. I think, here's the thing, Falcons knew since February 9th about this thing. I think they knew earlier. That's why Calvin Ridley news has been news about Calvin Ridley since since the season ended, pretty much. There's been the only news that's been brought up was about possible trade and all those things. Are we going to keep him? Blah, 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 blah. Understand this, folks. No matter what the Calvin Ridley situation is, the Falcons not going to stop doing business as usual. They were already planning on something happening. And I truly think going into 2022, going into this season, is that they didn't feel that Calvin would be there. They knew there was a chance that Calvin was going to be there, so they had prepared around that. So, here's the thing. Um, you can't put equal punishment on situations that happen because there's certain rules. Domestic violence to bribery to gambling. The NFL has these different standards of rules and how they're going to go by it. So, at the end of the day, do we want anything that's deemed detrimental to the team, to the organization, stamp it as suspension,
Yeah.
year suspension? We're going to say, oh man, that's wrong. That's wrong because there's a certain standard there that they have to go by, and a certain way they have to deal with things. Um, this affected the integrity of the game.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Um, it affected not only the integrity of the game, it affected the organization and the players involved and future down the road. So this is something that we've known. I think there's been four or five other guys that have been caught and suspended from gambling in the NFL, and they've been suspended for life. So I know he can reinstate as early as February 15th of next year or something like that, but that doesn't guarantee the NFL is going to grant him, you know,
Yeah.
way back into the NFL. We don't know that. Um, I've seen some things, on social media where he said it was only $1,500. He doesn't have a gambling problem. Um, it was only they only gave me 1 year. All that means I'm gonna be healthier when I come back. Um,
Where's his PR at? I mean, get this
this
guy off the
here's the thing. Without me even, I don't want to even go into the mental health part of it or
Mhm.
even the gambling part of it whatsoever. Um, here's the thing. Um, Something's going on, and we just don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and speculate like I'm a doctor, like I know everything whatsoever, because I really don't understand mental health myself. I don't understand it, and I'm not going to even pretend to understand. And I'm not going to even pretend to try to dig into it and evaluate it whatsoever. But what I see is a young man that uh, needs some help. And when I say some help, he needs somebody to talk to. He needs somebody that understands what he's going through. He needs somebody that can guide him, not tell him what to do, but guide him and push him and let him find his own way, the way that he knows how. And um, the young man needs prayer. We need to put hands on him and pray for him and hope for good things from him. Far as the Falcons concerned, like you said, this is ramifications of future draft picks, trade situation, whatsoever. Uh, the bright thing that came out of it was the salary cap.
Mhm.
Save some money in the salary cap. And people says, well, now the Falcons need a receiver. We knew that going into the
Yeah,
offseason.
we
We
knew that.
needed a receiver. And and here's the thing, if we're talking receivers, and which I know a little bit about, uh, here's where I go with that. You got Kirk, who's a free agent with the Arizona Cardinals. Won't cost you a whole lot of money, somewhere between 1.5 to $2 million a year, in a contract. Uh, that's his probably his market value right now. Um, and then I would go out and get Olave, the receiver from Ohio State,
Yeah.
probably one of the top three complete receivers in this year's draft. And oh, by the way, he can run. He
Mhm.
can run a little bit. 4.39. He can run a little bit. But not only can he run, he's been productive. He's been very productive at Ohio State, getting open, catching balls. He's caught a lot of passes at Ohio State. So if that's what we're trying to do offensively, that's what I'm thinking about at the receiver position. And does that mean we go get him at number 8? If that be it, let that be it. But here's one thing that disturbs me a little bit, William, is this. Some people says, well, why won't the Falcons admit that they're in a rebuilding situation? Or where they said we're in a rebuild situation, and Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot need to come to realization of that. So I ask the question is this. Mm-hmm. What does a rebuild look like to you? You want to say let's rebuild, but what does do we even know what a rebuild is when you say let's rebuild? Okay, here's the rebuild for you. Draft the quarterback at number 8. He becomes the starter. He's not playing well. Guess what you say? He's a bust. Get him out of here. Second year, he's not playing well. Oh my God, I can't believe. Wait a minute, you wanted a rebuild. So you got to give him chance to build his confidence, build his experience for us to be better. So what does the rebuild look like? Do we get rid of all the high priced veterans and play all the draft picks? And now we're going, oh my goodness, this team sucks. But no, you asked for a rebuild.
Yeah.
Are you going to be patient with a rebuild? Here's how you rebuild a team. You get young veteran guys who are hungry to be successful and implement them into your situation and that fits your scheme that's going to make you successful. And a rebuild is not taking lumps. A rebuild is playing at a 500 and above clip and hoping to get into the playoffs. That's a rebuild. That's not playing below average and just being satisfied with that. A rebuild is saying, okay, we're going to get better. We're going to win 2 more games than we did last year. It takes us to 9 games. We're going to have a chance to get into the playoffs. That's our goal. We want to get into the playoffs, and whatever happens from there happens from there. You may lose in the first round, but that's a step of rebuilding to build an organization to where it needs to be. So when people say a rebuild from what?
Exactly.
The 2016 team? We're in 2022. We're not talking about we was just in the playoffs in the NFC Championship or in the Super Bowl in 2019, where you saying, oh, we got to rebuild. Rebuild from what? Isn't that what we've been doing since 2016? Rebuilding?
I mean, when you see it on Twitter from the Falcon fans, we all know that's code for get rid of Matt Ryan.
Right.
That's what the rebuild means here in Atlanta.
Right. I know. That's basically what that means. That's basically what that means. And at the end of the day,
because
unless you put some dudes, get some dudes, like I say, you go get Kirk, you get Olave, you go get Jones from the Cardinals as your rush in, and you hopefully a safety or so is sitting there in free agent that you can get, which there is one. I think it's the May kids from the Jets are sitting there. So now you get that free safety you want, and then you're good everywhere else. And now you say, okay, we missing one part, a running back. Now you go get a solid running back. Now you can go get a draft. You can go get a young quarterback. You can go draft a quarterback. You can get one in free agency and say, hey, he has all the tools around him. So here we go. Let's go with that. Or you just put what I just said and leave your quarterback who has experience, who is a former MVP, who's played in the Super Bowl, who's won an NFC Championship game, who's played in NFC Championship games, and put some dudes around it and see what happens from there.
And speaking of former MVP quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers today was reportedly signed the highest paid NFL player. It was reportedly 4 years, $200 million, $153 million guaranteed. But Aaron Rodgers tweeted out 34 minutes ago, hey, everyone, I just wanted to clear some things up. Yes, I will be playing with the Packers next year. However, reports about me signing a contract are inaccurate, as are the supposed terms of that contract.
Wow.
So maybe it's even more money.
Well, you know what? It could be, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about reporting. Everybody wants that story. Everybody
Mhm.
wants to hit, and people could speculate, and they can come back and say, "Sorry, it was from an insider who told me, from a source who told me this was a contract deal, but this is actually the deal." But you already put it out there, and everybody's throwing it out there in the air. 200 million for 4 years. Wait a minute. Hold up. Aaron going, hold up. I'll be back, but that number, it may be 250.
Yes, that's how he's like, Hold on, everybody,
Yeah,
slow
hold
down."
on, slow down.
And
But
go ahead.
that's one of those contracts where you go, okay, where does Devontae Adams fit in? Where does they got some guys on defense that they need to resign? So are you going to be able to resign those guys and then be able to vie for an NFC championship and a Super Bowl run? So that kind of contract, that means you're going to be relying on 4 or 5 guys to get you there instead of 53 or 47 man roster, whatever it may be. So you hanging your hat on a few guys and hoping that they stay healthy and be productive as they've been over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's going to be something else. I do want to say that he was going through all that stuff about the vaccine and COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
he swore up and down, cancel culture, which is a made up
Mm-hmm.
word because he
Mm-hmm.
was not canceled. You're not canceled, and
Right.
you're getting $200 million.
Right.
That's not true.
Yeah, you can't say that. You
Yeah,
can't say that.
exactly.
You can't say that.
And it looks like Devontae, I think they're probably going to try to franchise tag him to keep him
Yeah.
around. But like you
Right.
said, now they're kind of handicapped to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they drafted Jordan Love in 2020. He's almost
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
identical to what Aaron Rodgers did to Brett Favre. He's coming up on 3 years sitting on the bench.
Well, I think there might be some trade rumblings
Mm-hmm.
uh, for Jordan down the road here near draft day. There's going to be some trade talk because at the end of the day, that's a hot commodity, a young quarterback that's learned under a great quarterback in a great system. So here's a guy you can give a chance to, and hopefully that he learned something while he was in Green Bay that he can help an organization win.
And then speaking of quarterbacks, I mean, you think the news wouldn't get any more crazier today, but apparently Russell Wilson is traded to the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos did give up a ton for him. They gave up Drew Lock, defensive end Shelby Harris, tight end Noah Fant, plus 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks and 1 5th-round pick.
If we look, if we in Atlanta had the luxury of all those picks, I'd have did the same thing to get Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing about that one. Uh, the trade has been on the table, but still Russell Wilson has to pass his physical and he has to okay the trade.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, he can say, I don't want to go. I don't care what it is. I'm not going to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what they're offering. And here's the thing. Here's a guy who's been on championship teams,
Mm-hmm.
been in the playoffs. He missed the playoffs last year. Been playing at a high level. Why would you go to a team that's not even near getting to the playoffs or winning a division or winning a championship? Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you go to a team like that? Why would you go to a team who has a new coaching staff whatsoever and has not made their way, haven't showed that they can win that coaching staff together in the NFL? Why would you do that? And I for me, if I'm sitting back, I'm going, that's disrespectful to me as a player, as a man, as a quarterback in this league. You're going to send me somewhere where they're not ready to win yet with a new young coaching staff, first time head coach. Come on, man. Really?
So
That's
what
that's what
is
you
you.
think about me.
You would turn it down?
I would turn it down.
Mm-hmm.
I would turn it down. Yes, I would turn it down.
Yeah, I everything around it. I mean, of course, I'm a Falcon fan, but as Seattle fans, I just I feel like that was their guy, and I'm sure they're crushed today to even hear that their
Mhm.
team is trading him away. Like you said, he had 2 Super Bowl appearances back to back.
Right.
One of them was
Mhm.
one Pete Carroll run play to Marshawn Lynch away from having 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
And now you're going to ship them off to cold Denver, high
Well,
altitude playing games.
yeah, come on, man. He was having it. I mean, I know he got hurt early last year, but he was having an MVP year before he hurt his finger. So, and then he came back and he had decent numbers. Everybody said his numbers was low. He mixed 6 games,
Yeah.
but he still had a great year. And so I don't understand that one. You know, I'm look, I'm Russell Wilson. I'm saying no to that deal. I have to say no. I'm not going to Denver. You have to find somewhere else, but I'm not going to Denver because they're not ready to win yet.
And
Plain and simple.
and the thing that, I mean, seeing all this quarterback movement today, because it almost seems like Denver, you know, we had heard they were banking on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers signed reportedly, well, he did say he's staying with the Packers.
Mhm.
So I wonder if that got everything in motion. And now it just,
Yeah.
like you were saying earlier, I know it's different, but you were saying that you feel like the Falcons kind of knew about Calvin beforehand. I kind of feel like there's something up with this Matt Ryan, because how they talked
Mhm.
about it previously, they never said anything concrete. And you're
Mhm.
seeing these big name quarterbacks making,
Mhm.
I feel like he's not even safe right now. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but the way things have been going today alone, I wouldn't have thought Aaron Rodgers would have signed that
Yeah.
new deal, and I wouldn't have thought that Russell Wilson would possibly be traded. So,
Yeah.
in saying that, anything is possible. I wouldn't put it past anything.
Anything is possible, man. And you know, and it's just early.
Yes.
We're still early in the game. We just at the franchise tag
Free
period.
agency.
We're not even, yeah, we're not even in the thick of it yet. So when we can't even talk about the combine because of all this stuff that's going on right now.
Right.
And the combine was amazing in itself.
Mhm.
So good gracious, because there's some kids coming out in this year's draft that, oof, there's about 40 kids, 50 kids that can go in the first 32 that, you know, you can't miss on.
Yeah.
You can't miss on whoever you draft. If you do it properly, you got a franchise player. You got a franchise player. I mean, this year's draft is just loaded with talent.
I'm hoping that the Falcons, I mean, I know I'm just a homer, but I hope they are looking at those Bulldogs and at least can get maybe a couple of them. I mean, they showed out again in the combine. I mean,
when the last time the Atlanta Falcons drafted a
I can't recall.
Georgia Bulldog?
I'd have to.
I think it was in. Don't trust me on this, but do not trust me on this one. I think it was 90. I want to say 95 or 96 was the last time he drafted the Georgia
I wouldn't
Bulldog.
doubt it, man, because I can't wrap my head around when the last time. And like you said, the combine, to be some bigger guys such as Jordan Davis, I mean, they ran their speed and agility
Right.
was off the
Yeah.
charts.
All their guys.
Yeah.
All their guys. What is it? I always pronounce it. Is it sign or seen?
Seen.
Remember I talked about him
Mm-hmm.
earlier. I was like, this dude is a great safety. He can cover, he can hit, he can run. And then he validated everything that I said about him. And if we can't get the kid from Notre Dame, here's the guy you want right there.
Yeah.
He may be sitting there in the second round.
Yeah, Hamilton from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice pick there as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Everybody does, at the end of the day, defense wins championships.
Mm-hmm.
And people have been saying that all along. And, offensive players, we agree. People think me being an offensive player say, no, we win. No, Aaron Donald proved it in the last Super Bowl.
Yep.
Defense wins Super Bowls, man. Plain and simple. We just put up the points and the defense stops them. So if they don't stop them, we lose. So defense wins Super Bowls for you.
Just to recap real quick. Calvin Ridley, is he going to be a Falcon in 2023?
No, because he'll be a free agent at that time, and he'll be able to go wherever he wants to go. And I don't foresee him being an Atlanta Falcon in 2023. he's going to have great value if he can keep his mouth closed and just go about his business and stay in shape and do the right things. He'll be a hot commodity in 2023.
There was something I was looking at last week, so it's just a coincidence that everything surrounding gambling and betting, but the Falcons are least favored to win the division next season. I just want to let everybody know that they are picked to finish last in Vegas. So,
well, here's the thing.
I know they don't play the game.
Yeah, here's the thing. Terry Fontenot is he got hired to make the decisions on putting the product on the field, and Arthur Smith was hired to cultivate that product and make it successful. That's why they get paid the big bucks. And here it is right now. Here's where you earn your money, because you're supposed to be the best of the best to what you do. So let's do what you do to the best of your ability.
And we definitely need something positive as far as the Atlanta Falcons, because I mean, for as long as this storied franchise, we've always got these blemishes on the Falcons' name, and now Calvin Ridley's the latest one that people are going to mention with the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah.
Well, you got to understand, it happens all over the league.
It does.
It's just that it's our news. It's probably some news about some other player somewhere else in their region right now, but right now it's our news, and it too will pass. It too will pass.
What you got for us to end the show today?
Here's something, as I told you, I've been reading, every night, doing Bible study and with my wife and everything like that. And here's something that really stuck with me. It was so simple. It was, and you can find it in Genesis 29, I think it is. It was when Leah, here's the backstory. Leah married Jacob. So Leah, Jacob didn't love Leah, he loved the daughter, the sister. And so Leah had babies for Jacob to want Jacob to love her. She had one baby. For sure, he'll love me now. 2, and it was sons. Sure, he would love me now. 3, sure, he would love me now. 4, no, I'm not worried about him anymore. All the things that I'm gonna do from now on is for God. I want to please God. And then Leah got blessed. So what I'm saying, here's the story. The more and more you do to please man, the more and more you do to get gratification, quick gratification, whatever it may be from man, as long as you keep posting, wanting people to like you and comment on what you want to do, you're always going to leave empty. You always, once you turn your computer off, your phone off, you're going to be empty because you didn't get anything from that. You didn't get anything from that. When people bash Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan, whatever, or we're trying to please and want people to like us, and at the end of the day, when you're empty. You're empty. You got to understand this. All that man has is a loan from God. And it's like a bank. When a bank gives you a loan, you got to pay the interest on it. And if you pay interest on it and you pay it off and you go get another one, you get a bigger loan. That's just like how we are now. I mean, the things that God gives us is a loan, and what we do with it and the interest we pay with it, he blesses us more. So what we do with our lives is need to be pleasing to God, because once it's pleasing to God, he's going to bless us with what we need. But man is going to fail you every time. He's going to disappoint you every time if you put your faith in him. But you must put your faith in God and all the blessings he has for you. Because I'm going to say this. He has a blessing with your name on it. Just ask for it.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hope everyone has a great day. Bye, everybody.
Peace.